right, so here's the setup. There's this guy. Let's call him Eric, and he's married to Laura. They've been together for a while, and on paper, they look like the couple who'd make it to their 50th wedding anniversary. But peel back the layers, and Eric's a walking midlife crisis wrapped in self-doubt, and Laura's the one holding everything together with duct tape and sheer willpower. Things get spicy when Laura hits 38 and a half weeks pregnant, and Eric drops the world's worst bombshell. "I'm thinking of leaving you." Yeah, he says this to a woman about to push a human out of her body. But hold up, it gets better. He doesn't actually leave right away. No, Eric waits. 16 days after Laura has the baby, when she's running on 3 hours of sleep and an IV drip of caffeine, he decides it's time to peace out. Because clearly this man has a PhD in terrible timing. So how does it go down? One evening, Eric sits Laura down, all somber and brooding. "Do you want to know what I'm going to talk about in therapy tomorrow?" he asks. She's thinking, sure, why not? Hit me with your worst. And then he does. He spills it all, his depression, resentment, and lack of hope for their marriage. Laura's sitting there, carrying their unborn child, and instead of support, she gets an emotional monologue. Cue the eye rolls. But let's rewind a bit, because this isn't Eric's first time pulling something like this. 5 years earlier, when they were living in Baltimore, Eric decided 2 months into his first full-time job that he wanted to quit. Why? Because apparently working stressed him out. Never mind that Laura had been single-handedly paying for their rent, groceries, car insurance, and even cancer treatments for Eric's dog. Oh, and he was still out there buying drinks for his buddies. Classic Eric. Fast forward to now. They're married, have a toddler, and another baby on the way. Laura's juggling all the responsibilities while Eric's still figuring out how to adult. His confession spirals into late-night conversations, but it's the same old story. Laura trying to fix things while Eric waffles between pity parties and philosophical musings about life. Then the baby comes. Laura's in labor, and Eric's presence is underwhelming. He's there, sure, but not really there. He robotically strokes her head like he's petting a goldfish, only lighting up when his siblings visit. That's when it hits Laura. Eric isn't depressed, he just doesn't want to be around her. As if things couldn't get worse, Eric decides to dabble in midlife crisis activities. He suggests open relationships, casually mentions a colleague he finds attractive, and even admits to visiting massage parlors and escorts. Each revelation is like a gut punch to Laura, but she keeps trying to save their marriage. She writes heartfelt letters, plans emotional interventions, and does everything short of hiring a skywriter to spell out, "Please don't leave." Eric finally announces he's done, and Laura snaps. She packs her bags, leaves the kids with him for the first time ever, and crashes at her sister's hotel. For the first time in weeks, she gets actual sleep, and then the legal drama begins. Eric starts showing up uninvited, sending texts like an angry teenager and demanding access to the kids he bailed on. That's when Laura calls in Emily, her lawyer and certified lifesaver. Emily shuts Eric down at every turn, helping Laura regain control of her life. Eventually, Laura moves in with her parents, where she starts to rebuild her life piece by piece. It's messy, it's painful, but she begins to rediscover who she is outside of her toxic marriage. Eric, meanwhile, agrees to co-parent, but the trust is shattered. So here's the lesson, folks. Sometimes, the person who promises to be your anchor ends up being the one pulling you under. But if you've got the courage to cut that anchor loose, you might just find yourself floating again. Could you have handled Eric's nonsense? Or would you have yeeted him out the door at the first sign of trouble? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to Talescape for more jaw-dropping, hilarious, and inspiring stories like this one. See you next time.